Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this afternoon, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my fiery brother, my brother Alex. Alex, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I need some of this right here. I buy about 24 of these. I guess that's how you pronounce it, from Costco.
Mm-hmm.
I need a sponsor.
Yeah.
I mean, these go
Quick?
These go quick.
What's your favorite flavor?
I like the blueberry. The best thing about this, no sugar. No sugar.
Oh, that's good.
See? Nice and healthy for you.
Yeah, good. Speaking of no sugar, this week, Lent started on Wednesday.
Yep.
Right? And so I decided that I was going to fast and give up sugar for Lent. So, and I've got my own fasting rules, right?
Okay.
So my fast rule is I am not going to eat until noon or 1 o'clock. And I'm going to stop eating at 8 or 9 o'clock. So I'm only going to give myself an 8-hour window. And in that 8-hour window, I'm not going to eat like a pig, right?
Yes, you are.
That kind of defeats the purpose of fasting. So I'm going to do that. And then the no sugar thing, no candy, no cookies, no cake, no desserts.
No chocolate?
No chocolate.
Wow.
That's going to be tough.
That's a tough one for you.
So, yeah. And I already rarely put sugar in my coffee anyway, so that's not a big deal. And then, so the only sugar I'll have is like fruit. Like natural sugar.
Well, fuck, man. Look, I mean, this is a great promotion for you right here. No sugar,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, that might work. So, yeah, so I'm going to let myself have,
Okay.
like, I'm going to let myself have orange juice, right, which has sugar in it. And I mostly drink water, but every now and then I'll have a soda. I'm going to let myself have a soda if I want a soda. But no extra sweets with the meal, I guess is my point. So I'm really cutting out like desserts and no snacking on cookies and cakes and stuff like that we always have around the house.
Now, I've given up coffee one time.
Oh.
That was the hardest thing to do. I didn't realize how hard it would be. It's like
Did you get headaches?
I did.
Really?
Throughout the day, not in the morning. I got it like noon and after. And so I just replaced the coffee with a tea. So I drink about, at work I would drink like 2 cups of coffee. So I would do 2 cups of tea. But I'm never giving up coffee again. I'll give up anything else, not coffee.
So right, I'm a coffee drinking runner, right?
Yeah.
I drink coffee all day.
Yeah.
Like if I'm working, I drink coffee all day. So I take a cup with me in the car to the office. When I get to the office, I grab a cup, and it's just a constant. I drink coffee all day, right up until 5 o'clock when I leave, or 6 o'clock, whatever time it is, right? I gave up coffee one time, and I did not switch to tea because I felt like that was cheating.
Okay.
So I did not switch.
It's not, though. It's not, right?
It's not. Well,
it's not cheating.
Technically, it's not, right? Because coffee is what I drink. But I felt like I was replacing caffeine with caffeine, so I felt kind of like it was cheating.
You get the caffeine-free hot tea.
So that's what I did, and it was hard.
Yeah, I agree.
Hard. Now, but I didn't get the headaches, and I always hear people say that they get headaches when they quit soda, but I always thought it was the combination of sugar and caffeine that made you have headaches. But I guess in your case, but you put sugar in your coffee. You put a lot of sugar in your coffee.
Yeah.
You drink it sweet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's why you got the headaches.
Could be. Now with soda, Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, whatever. I'm not big on it. The only time that I really feel the need, and it's not a need, right? It's a desire or whatever, that I need to have a soda is with pizza or a burger.
Really?
I feel like that just goes hand in hand. But like to have, a Coke out the blue is just not.
I can count.
Not me.
I can count on one hand how many sodas I have in a year. It's like once every couple of months, we'll go out to eat, and I'll be like, I could go for a Sprite or something.
Yeah, I don't care for it that much.
Soda. Yeah, it's not my thing. But anyway, so the Positive Food Podcast.
Coming soon.
So we had quite a bit go on this week, but really the biggest news of the week is a sport that's not in season, finally came to pass this morning. Antonio Brown to the Oakland Raiders. They traded, I believe it was a third and a fifth.
That's right.
And so now Antonio Brown has worked his way out of Pittsburgh.
Got what he wanted.
He got what he wanted. Now, I hear a lot of people blasting Antonio Brown for the way he's behaved. And I agree that it's not the best look for him. But in the structure that is the NFL and their collective bargaining agreement, the only way for players to get paid is to do this. I mean, for Antonio Brown, this was really the only way for him to do it. And it was to just make a stink and work his way out of Pittsburgh, which I think is unfortunate because I really liked Bell, Brown, and Ben in Pittsburgh. It was, I'm not a Pittsburgh fan, but I enjoyed watching that offense click when all three of those guys were on the field. But in a way, I don't blame them. Who do you think got the... what do you think about Antonio Brown and all these antics? And who do you think got the better end of the deal?
I'm going to start with the second question. I think the only winner here is Antonio Brown. I mean, he got what he wanted, right? He got an extension, basically.
And he's getting paid $19 million.
Getting paid. I mean, this is what, plain and simple, he got what he wanted. The Raiders made out good too, though, I think. I just don't know what direction they're really gunning for at this point, right? Because they traded Khalil Mack, they traded Amari Cooper, got a first for Cooper. Now they turn around and, trade a 3 and a 5 for Brown. That's pretty good, but it feels to me like they were like before this trade. It felt like they were rebuilding,
right?
And then they turn around and
sign a veteran.
Sign a veteran and to the biggest wide receiver contract. It kind of, for a position that I feel this doesn't, it's.
Well, they had to get Carr some help.
Yes, yeah.
They took away Cooper, who was really his only weapon there, and they had to get him some help. That guy took a beating last year.
Yeah, I agree, but
the Mac thing is never going to make sense to me.
Yeah. So, I mean...
I think the big winner here is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh and Antonio Brown. For Oakland, I don't think Antonio Brown puts them over the top. I think it will help, but it doesn't put them over the top in a pretty stacked AFC West. We'll see how the draft goes and the rest of free agency, but I don't think it's going to put them over the top. So they've improved, but not that significantly, in my opinion. For Antonio Brown, obviously, he got what he wanted. He got the extension. He's getting a lot of money, a lot of guaranteed money, so good for him. But the big winner here, I think, is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh last year, once they got to the point where they said, okay, Bell's not coming back, they played much better football. Once they got rid of that distraction, so to speak. And in football, distractions kill. Antonio Brown was going to be a distraction this year. They got rid of the distraction. They can get on to the business of thinking about winning football games, which is the most important thing for them. And I think this helps them immensely. Sure, they lost the talent. But as we saw with Bell, someone else can step in and be as productive, almost as productive. And so for the Steelers, the advantage of being able to focus on the season and not have to answer questions about Antonio Brown, or Bell for that matter, is far outweighs the slight drop in production that they're going to get from other receivers stepping up to fill the role. So I think the Steelers are big winners here.
I kind of disagree with that because they're still going to be paying Bell $21 million. And I think it's kind of worrisome going forward for a guy like Juju Schuster. Yeah.
Schuster-Smith or Smith-Schuster?
Either one. I think it's a pretty cool name.
When your name is Juju, you don't really need a last name.
You don't need a middle name, last name.
Hyphenated name, none of that shit.
Just Juju. So it's kind of worrisome for that guy going forward. What's his deal going to be? What's James Conner's deal going to be when it's time for him to get a new contract? I mean, that's great that they're filling in and producing, but Pittsburgh. This is not a rarity from Pittsburgh. We know they don't really pay out big contracts, you know. So,
But don't you think?
did they really win? They're still paying Antonio Brown this season.
But don't you think that Juju and Connor and most guys in the NFL who are filling in, don't you think they all have the same attitude? I'm going to fill in, earn my stripes, and when it's time for that contract, I'm going to get paid. And if it's not here, I'll make some noise and get myself out of here and get paid someplace else because someplace will pay me.
No, yeah.
I think that's the way they all look at it at this point. That's the way I would look at it.
Right, but from a Pittsburgh's point of view, you're giving these rookies, these rookies are coming in with 3-4 year deals. Then is that your window for winning the championship? There's no.
You got to do it with young guys.
Yeah, I mean, but there's no continuity there with kind of building a dynasty or a franchise. You know what I mean?
But in football, it's.
But I think they're going about it the right way also because the most important position in football is still on the team, and that is Big Ben, a quarterback. I'm sorry, say what you want about Big Ben, say what you want about any quarterback. That is the most important position, plain and simple.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. Dynasties aren't built on an entire team. They're built on one position.
Yeah.
And if you have a solid position, if you have a Peyton Manning, if you have an Aaron Rodgers, if you have what's that guy up in New England?
Tom
Brady.
Oh yeah,
that guy. If you have a guy like that, that's your dynasty, right?
Yeah.
The rest can all fluctuate, but that's where your dynasty lies. And and Pittsburgh has not lost that, right? No. They still have Big Ben, so that's why I think it's a good move for them. But it's really interesting. The other thing is, what are they gonna do with you think they're done, or is it possible that there's a Bell deal out there?
I mean, they have a lot of assets right now. They got I don't know how much they have in salary cap, but I mean they got 4 picks in the first 35.
Yeah.
3 in the first round. So I mean, now in order to get Bell, they're gonna have to. That's a free agent sign-in. It's not like they can trade a couple picks for Bell. That's a sign-in.
Well, no, aren't they gonna? Last I heard, I thought they're gonna tag him and then trade him. But they could tag him and trade him.
I don't know. I thought he was a free agent, just outright free agent, since they tried to tag him last season and he didn't play at all. I
don't think that flips him to free agency. I think he still belongs to Pittsburgh.
Okay, that I'm not sure.
I'm not sure on that one either.
Well, either way, I mean, that's another position that they need help in running back. They have
Connor.
Who?
They've got Connor.
Oh, I was talking about the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders.
You're talking about the Steelers.
I was talking about the Steelers. Yeah.
Well, I mean, from a Raiders point of view, they could use another running back, but they kind of need to fix that defense a little bit.
Did you hear Derek Carr, as soon as they signed Antonio Brown, started following Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah.
So apparently Derek Carr is going to become the West Coast version of Bryce Harper.
Right. That's right.
So, and that's I don't know if you have anything else to say on the whole Oakland Antonio Brown Bell Steelers situation, but if you don't, it brings up an interesting point when we talk about Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Right? This is what I like Bryce Harper. Let me just say I like Bryce Harper. I really do. But he's trying to recruit Le'Veon Bell. He's trying to recruit Mike Trout to Philadelphia. Hey man, if Philadelphia was so damn good, you'd have signed with him back in December. The deal you got here at the end of February couldn't have been that much better than the deal you were offered back in December. So don't tell me that Philadelphia is the best place ever all of a sudden because you're there, right? Come on, man. Quit recruiting. Go out and play baseball.
Now, at what point is this tampering? Is it?
See, now, my feelings on tampering. We've had this discussion before. I think it's all tampering. I think the moment you make a comment about another player, I don't give a shit. I don't care if you say he's got nice stirrups on. It's tampering.
You think so?
Yes.
But
yes.
I mean, he's talking about a guy that's going to be a free agent in 2 years.
I don't care. It's still tampering. He's tampering for the future. It's tampering.
I wonder if teams...
If someone from a rival company that you work at, right, one of your competitors, think about it,
right,
tweets, At Brooklyn Gaucho 1. Love the way you wear your hat on the podcast. He's recruiting. He's trying to recruit you away from this podcast. And I, for one, will go to the Podcast Association of America and file tampering charges. That's bullshit.
That's funny. But do you think teams will now like have this in their policy, right? Their player handout policy, like.
Well, I think MLB is going to step in at some point.
Yeah.
They've already said something, right?
You think they did, or you think the Phillies did? I have a feeling it was the Phillies.
No, I thought MLB made. Well, no, it was the Angels that were complaining to MLB about it.
Okay.
Which I completely understand. From the Angels' perspective, it very much feels like tampering. And look, the Trout to Philly stuff has, fans have been talking about that for a while because he's a Philly guy, and. It's one thing when fans say it because he went to an Eagles game or he happens to be from Philly or whatever, right? But it's another thing when a free agent just signed with the Phillies and starts talking about, and he even said he would actively recruit him. That's tampering.
To Bryce Harper's defense, if the Angels were doing a little better, then nobody would worry about Mike Trout going anywhere.
Really, Bryce Harper's true defense is that he doesn't know whether he's recruiting him for Philly or DC. Because he wants to win and he wants to bring a title to DC as well as Philly.
Yes, and he wants to ride a banana boat in a bus.
Exactly.
I've never seen a bus at a parade. Not recently, maybe back in the day.
Well, Boston does it.
They do?
The duck boats.
Oh, so now
that's what he
loves
to.
Boston too now.
That's what he was referring to. Boston does the duck boats.
Oh, okay.
On their parade. And so, so maybe he's recruiting for Boston as well, which the Red Sox, the Red Sox would love to have Mike Trout.
Phillies fans are going to love that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, he needs to stop.
I feel like two things. The Mike Trout to Philly is getting way overblown. At the end of the day, it may not even happen. Seriously, it's being talked about so much, it may not even. And number two, and we said it last week, Bryce Harper looked nervous to me at the press conference. Yeah. I feel like he's trying too hard right now.
Yeah. And that's not a good sign.
It's spring training.
And let me tell you.
Like, you're going to be all right. There's no need to try any harder.
That's not a good sign. Yeah. Because in baseball, more than in any other sport, if you try too hard, that leads you to a 2 for 22 slump. Mm-hmm. And if you're trying hard and you go 2 for 22, those Philly fans don't give a shit. They're going to start booing you. And when they start booing you, because you were trying hard, you're kind of sensitive about it, and it could spiral pretty bad. Now, I don't think that's going to happen because Bryce Harper, to me, is just an unbelievable player. I don't think that's going to happen. But
I wonder sometimes, man, Bryce Harper was the biggest name on the Nationals.
Easily.
Right? Easily. And I think right now he's the biggest name in the Phillies locker room.
By far. He's a bigger name with the Phillies now than he was with the Nationals.
Okay, fair enough. So it just makes me think, it obviously didn't work out in D.C., right? No World Series, not even a trip to the World Series. Didn't get far in the playoffs.
Not far in the playoffs.
Is all the attention on Bryce Harper? How did the Nationals, his teammates, handle that? And then you got to wonder now, with a pretty young team, and they had a pretty decent team without Bryce Harper. It makes me wonder, how are they going to handle with all this attention? Because some of those guys are not going to get the microphone in front of them after games.
But in a way, I think that's good, right? Because now. Think about it. When we talk about the 2019 Phillies, we're not going to talk about a good start and how badly they faded at the end. We're not going to talk about that at all. We're going to talk about Bryce Harper. So those guys can mature another year, right? Without that limelight on them, without that pressure. All the pressure sits on Bryce Harper, and I think he can handle it. So I think, in a way, this is a good thing. I think this is a good thing for the Phillies overall because, it does take the pressure off of the rest of that team. And look, and they've got the other good thing that they did this year was they brought in McCutchen, which I think is a good stabilizing factor in a clubhouse. So now you've got two veteran guys to help out a Reese Hoskins, Real Muto, who's still a young guy. Yeah. They've got Segura at shortstop. They've got a lot of good pieces. I think that from a pressure perspective, I think the Phillies will be able to handle it because of those two big name additions.
Yeah.
And the rest of those guys can just, ply their trade without the limelight of the media.
Yeah.
And there will be a lot of media.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, you've already seen spring training.
That press conference looked sad.
Which one?
The Bryce Harper one.
Oh, from last week?
Yeah, it just
looked... Oh, yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like how they did it outdoors and...
I mean, outdoors is fine, but they did it on the field with no backdrop. It looked like he was just...
Yeah.
It felt like we couldn't hear him except for the DC comment.
Right. Everybody heard that.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird, but whatever.
Yep.
To each his own.
Something different. Okay, so recently, right, baseball is pitch count, pitch clock, how many relievers you can use, how many batters they got to face. Did you see the minor league is going to try in the Robo Umpire?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah. I mean,
Stop.
if they...
Stop.
Yeah, no, I agree, but if they want to speed up the game, that's probably the way to go. Robo Umpire.
You think that's where we're wasting a lot of time when the guy goes, Shah!
Well, there won't be no need to argue calls. You're gonna see more balls being put in play because now pitchers might not be able to paint the corner as much. They might have to throw a little more inside the strike zone. Within the strike zone.
The actual strike zone.
Right, the actual strike zone.
Well, hitters are gonna be fucked because now pitchers will throw this high strike and none of them are gonna swing at it because it's never been called.
Yeah, that's an adjustment.
Never been called. It has been called the strike zone over the last 10 years has progressively gotten lower.
Yeah.
The strike zone, the top of the strike zone now is like 2 inches above your belt as opposed to the letters.
Yeah, and it goes as far down as what your shoe is.
It goes down to a couple of inches above your shoe, right? So that's going to be a huge adjustment.
But I think that will speed up the game in my opinion. If that's what they're looking for, right?
Here's look. They need to stop with the pitch count, the pitch clock.
Yeah.
That's not where to me the problem with the length of games is not with the pitchers. It's with the batters.
Yeah.
The batters that have to step out after every single pitch.
Right.
Bro, unless there's someone on base and you got a bunt play coming on or a hit and run or a steal, you don't need to get a sign every single time. If you're a left-handed batter, you don't need to get out of the box at all. The third base coach is right in your line of sight. I
mean, could you imagine if we had Major League Baseball full of no more Garcia Pyres? Games would last 5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the Rafael Nadal of baseball. That to me, that's where the big problem lies. And they need to stop. Look, I understand that you want to evolve and make the game more interesting and all this other stuff. But trying to change the game. I even heard something where they're going to push the mound back 2 feet. They're going to go to 62 feet 6 inches instead of 60 feet 6 inches.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
And it's like, just stop. Look, if you want games to be 12-10, then start giving out 2 points for a home run. You know what I mean? Like, do something else. But stop trying to change the very fabric of the game. Part of this is they want more scoring, too.
Yeah.
And, you can't have both. You can't have more scoring and a shorter game. Unless you start giving more points for certain things, right?
Runs.
Right. So you start, a home run is worth 3 points now instead of 1. I mean, that's the only way you're going to do it and keep the time of the game as compact as it is.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. And they need to stop trying to tinker with changing the game. The pitch clock, to me, changes the game. I don't like it. Moving the mound back certainly would change the game. The Robo Umpire, I'm kind of okay with. I'm kind of not.
Now, with the Robo Ump, I said, I feel like the pitchers would be squeezed, but it would force them to pitch a little more inside. Or going forward, like if we look, right, let's say they implement this Robo Umpire, let's say 20 years from now, are these numbers, is it going to screw with the numbers? Like, how is it going to matter for Hall of Fame?
Well, think about it. The game is changing It's changed over the last 20 years. For example, 200 wins for a pitcher is the new 300.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You get to 200 wins with the way we use bullpens now, with the 5-man rotations. Nobody's getting 35 starts.
Yeah.
There's very few pitchers. There's only how many pitchers last year got 35 starts? Probably
not more than 10.
5.
Yeah, not more than 10.
I would say 5.
5.
I mean, I could Nola, Scherzer, and DeGrom in the National League.
Maybe Verlander.
Verlander maybe.
Kluber.
So, Kluber was out for a while, so no. Same thing with Bauer.
Oh, the dude from
Tampa Bay.
Snell. What about from the Red Sox? Porcello, or Sale was out.
Sale was out for a while.
Who's the other? Yeah, shit, may not be that many.
I mean, you go ahead and talk. I'm gonna look it up now because I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of okay with as much as I'm against tinkering with, how the MLB is and how long the games are. I'm kind of okay with the Robo Umpire. I just feel like we're gonna see, and I think that's gonna result into a more offensive game, more runs, but it's kind of counteracting the length of the game, right?
Right.
Like you say. So, I don't know. I wish they would just keep it the way as it is, man. I mean, I don't see. Baseball is one of those sports for me that is, my pastime, my childhood. So, you got more than what we thought?
One.
Who?
Shakeen.
Who? Shaquille O'Neal?
Ulyss Shakeen
Colorado?
from the Brewers.
Oh.
Dallas Keuchel, 34. Verlander, 34. Corbin, 33. Kluber, 33. Nola, 33. Scherzer, 33. DeGrom, 32. I'm going through the big names, right?
So
how
many?
One player had 35 starts.
Wow.
So yeah,
not even Blake Snell was on there? How many people had at least 30?
A lot.
Okay.
So 30, 56.
Wow.
But only one had 35.
Yeah.
So, that gives you an idea. Snell had 31. So, my point is,
we're
the
probably
game...
going to see less this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think we're going to see less and less over time. It's just the game has changed. So, yeah, you bring up a good point, but that's why you have to compare with your era, right? It's going to become more important how many times you led the league in innings pitched as opposed to 200 innings pitched in a season, right? And stuff like that. It's just, it's crazy. And quite frankly, I think, my message to Robert Manfred, stop. Just stop. The game doesn't need to be changed every year. You don't need to find 15 different things to change the game and improve it. And I know I'm speaking as a baseball fan, but baseball's a damn good game the way it is.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, just come on. Stop with all the changes.
Well,
the Robo Umpire is the only one that I can kind of get behind.
Yeah. Well, baseball wants to attract more fans, and the fans that they want to attract, obviously are already not into baseball as much, and they don't want to sit there. They don't want to go to a game and sit there for 3 hours. And,
I hate to say this, but if you want to attract more fans, I'm going to hate myself for even saying this. Find a way to make your game more gambling friendly.
It is.
That's a terrible thing to say, right? But let's face it. Football exploded through Vegas and through fantasy football. If you can find... And fantasy sports is fantasy sports, for all intents and purposes, is a form of gambling, right?
Yeah.
It's different, but it's a form of gambling nonetheless. Find a way to make fantasy baseball more popular. Find a way to make baseball more popular with gamblers. and watch how the game explodes.
I think,
and I don't know how you do that. I don't have any ideas off the top of my head. Actually, I do have some ideas. Mr. Manfred, we'll talk later. Call me. Reach out to me on Twitter at eMontana21. But yeah, I think that's how you make the game more popular.
Didn't football do this where you can bet at the stadium?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit. I'll go to all 81 games in baseball.
You can bet. I think there's ways you can bet on the outcome of at bats, individual at bats, live betting. Look.
Now I've done that before, watching games with like friends or whatever, and we'll bet the outcome of that at bat or what pitch is going to be thrown next. Or I mean, that'd be great.
Well, with as technology gets better and better, I think MLB would be wise to consult with gambling entities on how to make the game more gambling friendly.
Now, it's
a terrible thing to say. I hate to advocate like that.
Oh, that's not a terrible thing to say.
But I think that's
Didn't this week they come out with something that the manager has to submit the lineup card to baseball first?
To MLB?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard something about that. And to me, that's a gambling thing.
Right, yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's a gambling
thing. Exactly what it is.
Because now, as a gambler, you can go to one site, MLB.com, at 2 p.m. for your night games, and look at the lineup and start making your bets. To me, that's a gambling thing.
Although they already have, I'm going to whisper this one out, they already have a website where, the lineup comes out like 10:30 in the morning, 11.
Really?
It's not. Sometimes it's not all the way filled. Players are questionable, but there's a website out there that has the lineups. And for early games at noon and 1 o'clock, they come out pretty early. I mean, you have time.
It sounds to me like you have perused this website for gambling purposes in the past.
I plead the fifth.
Right. Gambling's legal, man. You're good.
I don't know.
I mean, we're not talking about weed here.
No, we're not.
Because we're in Texas, weed is not legal.
It's not legal.
But
if we were in Colorado, then,
Speaking of weed, I read an interesting article this week about the NHL and their policy with recreational drugs.
Yeah? Loose?
Very.
Really?
Well, because, obviously it was legalized in Canada. All of Canada. So you've got quite a few teams.
Yeah.
And it turns out that I think it was 28 or 26 of the 31 cities that have hockey teams are in states or countries where weed is legal.
Wow.
So, and they've got, and their program is such that they test you I think they test you 4 times a year.
Damn. And
if they catch you, you have to go into their substance abuse program, but it's voluntary. You can tell them no. So if you get and they've got a couple of doctors that are that head it up, and you have a consultation with them.
Okay.
So basically, what happens is you get busted for weed. The doctors go, we recommend you go into the substance abuse program. You go, look, I take a hit of a weed pen at night to go to sleep after a tough game. I don't need shit. Okay. Someone else gets busted. Hey, you popped for black tar heroin. You really have to go in to this program. No, I don't want to. No. You really, really should go into the substance abuse program. So that's kind of how it works. And with more and more states legalizing it, it's only a matter of time before it's. I think it's going to be legal everywhere.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time.
It makes you think are the Raptors and the Blue Jays gonna be like, hey, Toronto Maple Leafs, they the NHL is doing it,
right? Well, there's a lot of talk. I don't recall the years, but those collective bargaining agreements come up every so often, right? And the NBA one I think is coming up soon, and Adam Silver is on record as saying we want to follow the science. So if the science comes out in such a way that there's a lot of positive articles out there about CBD and weed in general and the health benefits for anxiety, for pain management, things like that. That's going to be a big part of the collective bargaining agreement. And it may be where they end up closer to the NHL model where you can partake and stuff like that. The NFL is another one. They're very concerned because of the pain management aspect, which would put players out on the field more and perform better. So, and for the NFL, where they've really got their thumb on the players, it's very pro-owner collective bargaining. That's a chip that they could give them to continue to keep the thumb on the players. The only one that would be more difficult would be the baseball one. The baseball collective bargaining agreement will be more difficult to get it passed because they've got such a stigma with steroids that they're not going to want to pass it.
Well, the NFL is handing out yearly suspensions for weed.
Yeah.
So they're definitely against it.
Right, but yeah, they are. But again, that's a very if the cultural tide turns the way it's turning, if it turns even further,
right?
They can give the players that and say, yeah, by the way, we're still gonna have a hard salary cap and we're gonna fuck you every chance we get, right on the money side, and the players will go for it because their careers are so short that they kind of feel they have to. It's very interesting. It is,
but I think you're right. I think it's all four major sports. At some point, are going to, be pretty
lax on the weed thing. Yeah. It's very interesting, and the science behind it is, the science is really incredible.
I've now helpful. Is that what you're saying? It's helpful to these athletes.
The science.
Yes. Is that what?
Well, yes, certainly CBD.
Okay. Because that's the same thing I feel about steroids. I feel like steroids is, in a way, beneficial for these players.
That one's a little bit different because there is longer term damage.
Yeah, but they're short. But they're thinking short term, and that's how can I get back onto the field or to the basketball court as soon as possible. Right. I think that's.
But the difference there is that you have long-term damage that happens. Yeah. The weed thing is different in that it helps with. It doesn't really have to do with the sport. It has to do with quality of life, right? Because there's an anxiety issue there. There's a pain management issue there. We probably shouldn't be speaking about this because this is, between you and me. Not just because we're brothers, but this is bro science because I don't think either one of us knows a whole lot about this. But, I feel like to me, the weed thing is a different issue than the steroid thing because it is more of a quality of life thing as opposed to a performance thing. That's just my feeling. I don't know enough to really...
Quality over quantity is what I take from that.
Get you the best weed you can. It's amazing. The NHL
put the needles down and raise the pipe.
That's right. The NHL article was fascinating.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I couldn't believe it. How pervasive it is and how lax it is. How this never got into the mainstream media until now, I don't know. But it was a fascinating article.
Speaking of gambling and hockey, I sat and I watched, I think, my first full hockey game last night. For betting purposes, just to see if the game went over or not. And I didn't have a single dime on this game.
The Blackhawks?
Yeah, it went under.
Did it?
After 17 straight over games.
Wow. What was the score?
2-1.
Oh, wow. And it was way under.
3 goals in the first quarter.
Period.
It was 2. See, I don't watch hockey. Yes, period. I think it was 2-1.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. 17 in a row. I saw someone say that if you bet the over, I think it was at 15. If you bet $100 and rolled over your winnings, you'd be at $800,000.
Well, if you started from game 1, you'd be a freaking millionaire. 1.6.
Oh, to go 17?
Yeah. If you bet the over 17 straight.
That's like hitting a 17-team parlay, right?
Yeah.
Except you can't do that because there's only 32 teams in the NFL.
Damn near impossible.
Isn't that something?
That's amazing. Yeah, I switched over to the hockey game. I wanted to watch the Sean Porter fight on Fox Sports, and I didn't know that it was on tape delay. I guess they had, I don't know where they were fighting, but they fought. I think the fight was in California, but so it was on tape delay, and so this other fight's going on, and it's not very interesting. So I hop on Twitter and my damn feed, the first freaking thing I see is Sean Porter, the result of the fight. I'm like, well, I can't. Something about me knowing the results.
Sports are that way.
I can't
There's
watch it.
something about sports that you can't.
Even if it's my favorite team. Now, if it's like the World Series and the Mets in the World Series, and which I won't. But if I happen to miss a game, I will go back and watch that. But I mean, other than that, I just can't see myself watching a replay of a game. I can't.
I mean, I do watch. I have occasionally watched a replay of an old baseball game or football game where I know the result. But if it's like current stuff and it's regular stuff, for example, Michigan State was on last night. Right, obviously I'm a big Michigan fan. I couldn't watch that on, I couldn't watch that I couldn't watch it this morning knowing that Michigan lost, right? Like, I couldn't do it. I could watch it this morning if I somehow did not get the result. Right. But I can't, and that's, it's a fairly important game, but at the end of the day, it's really not that important. Now, the 1989 national championship game against Seton Hall, that one I have watched again. Yeah. Right, and I know the result and stuff, but
I think the only thing I can watch over and over is the 1986 New York Mets, A Year to Remember. That's probably the only thing I could watch.
I watch that video probably once a year.
Once a year at least.
I think so. It's.
They got it out on DVD now.
Ooh, I gotta get a DVD because I know that VHS.
Yeah, I don't have a VHS player.
I have a VHS player, but I know that sucker's not gonna last much longer. I'm surprised that survived 3 kids.
Oh shit.
We had one a while back, and my daughter stuck a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in it. So I go, check out this slot. Perfect. It can hold my peanut butter.
See, I would have been mad. Peanut butter and jelly, that's my favorite. You can't put that to waste. I hope you ate that.
You don't care.
Did you eat it?
No. Well, no.
Or did you make her eat it?
I made her eat it. Do what you want with that peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but you're going to eat it.
That's right.
That's the way we roll. What else you got?
I jotted down some NBA.
Okay.
We can touch on that. Let's get this out of the way on the NBA. Okay. Lakers season is over.
Oh. What a disaster.
So we're forbidden to talk about the Lakers the rest of the way.
But let's talk about it just one last time. What a disaster.
I mean,
you should go back. You should go back through the old notes and see how many wins we predicted. I know I predicted them to not make the playoffs, and I believe my prediction was 40 and 42, just under 500. Man, they're not going to make that even. It's just what a disaster! What a complete and utter disaster.
The players are going down with injuries now. I mean, how long before LeBron says, it's over? Like, he, shuts it down for the season.
And speaking of shutting it down for the season, I don't mean to switch gears here. Well, I kind of do. It's got to be concerning to the NBA, the Anthony Davis situation, where they put him. He wanted to be traded. He was on the trading block. Nothing happened by the deadline. Now they're managing his minutes like he's only going to play 20 minutes a game. That's got to concern the NBA. And I say that because I agree with you. I think at some point the Lakers are going to do the same thing with LeBron. Like, are they going to start saying, look, LeBron's got a lot of wear on those tires. Let's not put him out there for 36 minutes tonight. Let's just throw him out there 20 minutes and let's get the season over with and let's start to rebuild. It's got to be a concern.
It has to be for the NBA. I mean, you look at other players like Kawhi Leonard taking days off, right?
Yeah.
But that's why they just need to freaking shorten the season. I don't think that these games really. I mean, look at a team like the Warriors. Do you think they really care about the regular season much?
Shorten the season, or shorten the playoffs.
Right. Yeah.
Make it only the top 4. right? I've often said that the top 8 in each conference is too much.
So you're saying take the top 4 out of each conference?
Yeah.
Nah, you need more teams in the playoffs.
Dude, how many first round series do you care about even?
I mean,
the only one we're going to care about this year is the Boston-Philadelphia one. That 4-5.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll care about Portland and the Rockets in the West. That 4-5. But we're not going to care about any of the other ones. I mean, are you really going to care about Toronto, Orlando?
No, but you can't make it like baseball either, where only 4 teams make it.
Why not?
It's just not. It's basketball. You can't. You need the teams in there. I mean, the NCAA has like 75 teams that make the tournament.
68.
Close enough.
Yeah, it'll be 75 soon. Yeah, I mean, at some point, I think we're always expanding the playoffs. I think it should go down to top 4 in each conference, but I would dare to say that we're probably closer to the top 10 in each conference than we are to the top 4.
No, you think they expand it?
Wouldn't be surprised.
I would be surprised.
Make like 7, 8, 9, and 10 play each other in a best of 3 to get into the actual playoffs. Play-in.
Well, you know what? Those games might be exciting than more.
Those would be very exciting.
Yeah.
Think about it. Last year when the Western Conference 7, 8, and 9 went down to the final game.
That's right.
And that was the most exciting thing because no one gave a shit about what was going on up top.
Right.
So I think the NBA is closer to going to 10 than they are coming down to 4.
What about the idea of doing 1 through 16 overall between the Eastern and Western Conference, seeding them that way? That you'll get more.
Yeah.
You'll get better games that way.
I think that would be better.
But then you'll have teams. But that will get eliminated early.
Well,
that you would want to
think about it
in the second round.
Let's see what that looks like right now.
So
you keep talking.
So real quick, the Lakers
that we're not going to talk about anymore.
That we're not going to talk about anymore, but we still are because we can. Man, you got to wonder if the Lakers would trade LeBron. Because at this point, I really feel that players in the NBA don't. At this stage of LeBron's career, I don't know that they want to play with him. I mean, just the way his antics and shit that he says, I think it rubs off, and the rest of the league sees that shit.
Yeah,
And I think the Lakers got to wonder that too. Can they attract play? Paul George literally stayed in OKC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, does Magic Johnson say, you know what? I don't know if other players want to come to LA. We are clearly, this is a team rebuilding. Unless you bring in every freaking star, you're rebuilding.
Well, but here's the thing, and I understand your point from a Laker perspective, but put yourself on the other side. Who's going to want to take LeBron at this point? Right? That's the other problem. It's a big contract.
That is a big, and it's not even contract, bro. I think it's coaching LeBron that makes it so difficult. It's just putting him.
He really needs to become the player coach. Have they ever had a player coach in the NBA?
Yes, I think they had. Was it Magic when he came back?
I want to say no.
No? Okay.
It's harder, and like you come off the court all sweaty. Give me the clipboard. I'll draw. I
know you have like no energy to draw up a play.
Okay, we're gonna get the ball to number 23. Dude, you're number 23.
See, now Steve Kerr could do that. I mean, Steve Kerr lets the other guys coach. He can actually come in and play, coach. And doesn't have to worry about
So let's see. Right now, if we took the top 16, it would be Milwaukee, Toronto, Golden State, Denver, Indiana, Philadelphia, Houston, Boston, OKC, Portland, Utah. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. the Clippers, San Antonio, and Detroit.
Detroit would be the 16?
I think so. Did I count right? Hold on. I'm just an accountant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, no. Brooklyn and Sacramento would get in as well.
So who would be the last seed?
Sacramento.
So it would be Sacramento and Milwaukee the first game?
See, again, the first round would be worthless.
I don't know.
One,
in
two,
the middle.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So look, okay. So again, the 7-8 would be Boston, OKC. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Houston, Portland. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Those are basically your 4-5s. Today's 4-5, right? Philadelphia, Utah. That might be interesting. Indiana, the Clippers. Not interesting.
Clippers aren't playing that bad, actually.
Yeah, only because Indiana doesn't have Oladipo. In a normal year, if they had their star, then that's a waste of time. And then Denver, San Antonio, waste of time. And then, I mean, look, Detroit, Brooklyn, and Sacramento, no one wants to see them. So it'd be the same thing. You'd still only have 2 series that are worth a damn. The 7-8 and the
4-5?
The 8-9 and the 7-10. So, whereas if you had 8 teams, you would get Milwaukee, Boston, Toronto, Houston, Golden State, Philly, Denver, Indiana. God, that would be awesome if we the playoffs would start bang from day one.
And those could be like all 7-game series.
Yeah. Adam Silver, call me, bro.
What else in the NBA? Rockets look like they're making a push. I think they're up to 3 now.
No, they're 4.
They're 4?
They're 4 ahead of
so they jumped Portland.
They jumped Portland. They now have home court against
Portland. And I think
Portland.
they're only like a half a game or a game behind OKC.
No, they're ahead of OKC.
So then they're 3rd.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
No, hold on. Portland has fallen to 6.
So it's Golden State, Denver, Rockets.
Oh, yeah. The Rockets are up to 3. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is huge for them.
Yeah.
Because it is much better to play Denver in the second round than the Golden State Warriors. And
they
avoid Portland, which has always been a thorn in their side.
Yeah.
It's getting interesting.
Boy, does that if they stay as a 3 seed, the Rockets, does that push Harden again over in the MVP talk?
I'm probably biased here, but as of right now, if the season ended today, Harden would get my MVP vote.
I mean,
and quite frankly, last week, if we'd have had the same discussion last week, I would have voted for Harden over Giannis, and over Paul George, and the Rockets were 4th or 5th. Right?
Yeah.
I just think what Harden has done. Remember, Harden has done it with less help than anyone else because Chris Paul was out for so long and Capella was out. Giannis is getting a great season from Bledsoe and Middleton. Paul George has, in my opinion, the best point guard in the league, Russell Westbrook. So, to me, Harden is doing it with less.
Yeah.
And certainly now that they're 3, Harden gets my vote.
Yeah.
How about you? Who gets your vote?
I mean, our preview, NBA
LeBron?
preview was no, definitely not LeBron. Definitely
Boogie
not LeBron.
Cousins?
Chess, not checkers. No, my pick was Giannis, but I mean, if the Rockets if they stay the 3 seed, I may have to switch to Harden.
They're half a game ahead.
I mean,
and
he has such a incredible streak that I have ever seen. I mean, I know Will Chamberlain's streak of 30 plus points. I didn't witness that.
Right.
I've watched some of those Harden games this year, and then you get your sidekick back, Chris Paul, and you don't really lose a step, right? He's had a pretty incredible season.
Who stopped his streak of 30 plus games? This is like a week ago, right?
Shit. I don't remember.
I remember.
I know they played the 76ers the other night.
I remember.
And spanked them.
I remember when they. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up because I do have something to say about that. I remember watching it and thinking about this team This is why you're not good.
Oh yeah, didn't they? They triple teamed him.
They triple teamed him on the last possession.
Yeah, I would have called for that play too.
You're a loser.
Why?
Dude.
Well, I mean,
hold on.
I don't want my team giving up. I mean, you play to win the game. Did you not hear Herm Edwards?
Hold on a second.
No, yeah, I mean, Harden is really as much shit as I give him. Man, it's kind of hard to vote against him this season.
I can't figure this out.
You can't pull it up?
Oh, it was Atlanta.
Atlanta's been playing good basketball lately.
Yeah. Listen to me. You're losing by 12, I think was the number.
I don't know.
They were losing by 12. The game was over. They were losing by 12. James Harden got the ball, dribbled it up the court because he was going to dribble it out. He didn't look like he was interested in scoring. Mm-hmm. He looked like he was going to dribble it out.
Are you sure about that?
I watched it several times.
This is James Harden we're talking about.
He looked like he was going to do the classy thing and just, hey, it's just I didn't get to 30 tonight. That's okay.
I could see James Harden going for a 3-pointer.
Yeah, I could too. But then the Hawks triple teamed him. Look.
It's the MVP we're talking about.
Look. That's why the Hawks have been a terrible franchise for many years. Because you're not focused on winning. You're focused on stupid little things like not letting James Harden get 30 in a game that you've lost by 12. Stop it. Worry about winning. Worry about developing that young team that you have. Worry about not making deals for Dwight Howard, for fuck's sake.
Or Melo.
Stop it. Grow up.
Yeah, but they had no chance to win the game.
You're being a goofball here.
They had no chance to win the game.
You're being a goofball, and I'm being serious. That's the sign of a loser franchise.
I don't know.
That's why the Hawks have sucked for so many years.
The Hawks may have the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he has played well recently. That game against the Bulls was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, what was it, like 5 overtimes, 4 overtimes?
Yeah, that was fun. I hope you had the over on that one. It was like 320 points, 325.
Yeah, I don't know if it was that high. But it was high.
No, it was. I think it was like 168 to 160.
Oh, yeah.
They played 4 freaking overtimes.
I know. Damn,
and 2 teams that aren't that good, so.
Yeah? What else you got?
That's all I have, man.
That's all you got? That's all the talk.
Did I tell you about the dream I had last night?
No.
So
Martin.
I had a dream.
So did Martin.
Lawrence?
Luther.
Anyway, I had a dream that I was taping like a little segment to play before the podcast. Okay. And it was just info shit, right? Like just kind of where to get the podcast and interact with us, the usual. And I was doing great. I wasn't stuttering or anything. I wasn't, I was on point. It was on my phone for some reason as opposed to the computer like we normally do. And then all of a sudden you walked in because we were going to do the podcast.
Oh, the best part's coming up.
You came in and you knew I was doing it and you kept talking to me and interrupting me. I was about to kill you in my dream. I was about to take that phone and beat you upside the head with it.
Well, I mean, you can't let something like that sidetrack you, man. You got to keep focused at the task at hand. I tried.
Shit.
Sorry, man. Well, at least it was in the dream and not,
Not in real life?
That's right.
Although you do interrupt me in real life sometimes.
Yeah, I do.
But not on the podcast. You're pretty good about that. I don't know.
Maybe I'll start.
If you guys want to interrupt us and interact with us, you can do so by emailing the show. positivesports10@gmail.com is our email address. positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of me, you can reach out to me via Twitter at eMontana21. If you want to get a hold of this guy.
On Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
That thing is still running?
Until Twitter decides to...
If you want to listen to something about Twitter and banning accounts, which is fascinating stuff, there's a podcast by Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan Experience, very popular podcast. He's got an episode with Jack Dorsey, who's the CEO of Twitter, and some reporter guy, Tim Pool, I think is his name, and like one of the executives from Twitter. And they talk about different cases and why people got banned and stuff. It is, as stupid as it is, it's fascinating. A very good listen. You should definitely listen to it because I think you'll figure out why you got banned.
I'm gonna reach out to them so they do some like digging as to why.
Yeah, like they talk about specific cases of people, famous people who have gotten banned from Twitter for this, that, or the other thing.
I mean, 16 podcasts in, I'm pretty famous now, so I'm gonna submit my my handle and let them dig into it.
Yeah, maybe we can get them on the show and they can talk about your case specifically.
That's right.
I know why you got banned. You got banned for being a dumbass.
Well,
Episode 66. Any famous 66?
Mario Lemieux.
Yeah. That's the most.
That's
famous.
it.
Yeah, that's game, set, match right there. That's I'm out. I can't beat that. You got a shout out this week?
Yeah, my shout out goes to Murray State, first team to clinch the NCAA tournament. They got this player, I forget his name. I gotta look it up. Ja Morant. Yeah, who's like, I don't know. He's having a great season.
bomb.
Yeah, apparently so.
Hell of a player.
So, Murray State, you get my shout out. First team to clinch the big tourney, going to the big
They
dance.
have a shot at the national championship, and no one else does right now.
They do. Is that a Catholic school?
Murray State?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Oh, then they're not winning.
No Sister Jean?
No sister. They got no sisters.
Well, a Catholic school didn't win last year.
No, but I mean,
they made it pretty far.
They made it pretty far.
My shout out goes to the man to my right. The man to my right, I don't know how this shows up on video, but the man to my right today is my brother Alex. My brother Alex, who turns 63 on Tuesday.
Holy shit. I look pretty fucking good for 63. Damn.
Now, on
Did you
Tuesday...
say Thursday?
Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
It is Tuesday, right?
It is Tuesday. I thought you said Thursday. I'm like, wait a second.
I'm glad I got it right. My shout out goes to you, my brother.
Thank you.
Happy birthday this week. I
Thank
hope you do something fun with the family. And, you're getting older, but you're getting wiser.
Yeah.
Maybe you're just getting older.
Yeah, probably just older.
So anyway, my shout out goes to you. Happy birthday. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
I hope all of you out there have a great day. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Like I said earlier, reach out to us via email or Twitter, however you see fit. When you watch the shows on YouTube, iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, whatever, like, subscribe so that you can get this content weekly. We do it every single week. Every now and then we throw in a bonus episode when we like to goof off and talk to our friends or cousins or whatever.
MLB preview show coming soon.
Oh, that's right.
It's going to be here probably in the next week or so.
Before the season starts.
Definitely. Not in August.
Maybe we should do the preview shows after the season so we can get all of our picks right.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way to do it. I wonder if Vegas will help us out with that. We can bet on them after the fact.
That's right.
Anyway.
Now you're thinking.
As always, folks, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. And like I always say, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.